Last summer, I was rafting with a couple of my sons and a bunch of our friends, and we went into this particularly tough rapid. It was sort of created by a man-made barrier, but there was this tunnel, and we went down into this class 4 rapid. If you know rafting, you know class 4 is pretty cool, and we hit this wave, and all of a sudden, whoop, the boat went up, and bam, I went out. I just went out. And what I mean is out of the boat. And I was sinking into the water, and there was water all around me, and I completely got disoriented. And I tell you, it was kind of a stressful situation. Sometimes in business, that can happen to you as well. Circumstances arise and you get disoriented in your business life. And what can you do to regain your orientation and to find your bearings in the midst of difficulties and challenges? Well, there's 3 things you can focus on to help you to do that. First one is work. Now, that may sound kind of funny since we are talking about business, but whenever there is circumstances beyond your control, or whenever you're struggling to find your bearings, one of the ways you can get focused very quickly is to always remember, particularly in construction, there are projects to build, there are obligations to meet, there are contracts that you have signed, that you have personally guaranteed, and there is work to get done. So if you're struggling to find your bearings, focus on work. Make sure that you are giving yourself time and space in your day to get away from all of the issues and the challenges and to do your best to focus on solving the problems that you're facing in your business. Second thing to help you to get your bearings is love. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Think of the relationships that you value the most. I was hosting a webinar just recently with a bunch of construction executives, and I asked them what they're focusing on in order to help them through some challenging times. And one of the things that's really motivating them is their family. And I want to encourage you in the midst of these situations where you're looking for your orientation, you're looking for your bearings, your family is still your family. Your kids perhaps aren't as aware of the issues that you're facing, and they still need you to be there. So make sure that you're patient with those that you love in times of adversity. Make sure you're cultivating those relationships, because that will help you to get oriented when you are being tossed here and there. So allow those love relationships to motivate you. And let me encourage you, don't abandon those love relationships when there are issues and challenges. Don't neglect them, but make sure you stay focused on those as well. And then the final thing that you can do to orientate yourself in the midst of challenges where you're being tossed here and there is to exercise courage, to confront your fears. Courage is doing what you're afraid of. And let me ask you this, what is it that you fear the most? Typically, most people, what they fear the most is death and sickness. And it's interesting, we cannot control whether or not we will die at some point. All of us will die. But we can control to a great degree the quality of the lives that we live at the moment. So one of the ways to get your bearings in the midst of disorienting circumstances is to take care of yourself and your health. Get enough sleep, get enough exercise, and watch what you eat. Secondly, take care of your finances. Okay? Financial failure is something that a lot of people fear. And if you're in a situation where there's disorientation, where perhaps your financial standing is in jeopardy, what can you do to cut your overhead personally so that you live below your means if necessary? What difficult conversations do you need to have with your spouse or your kids about the money that you're spending so that you can readjust yourself, if necessary, for a period of time to your current circumstances? And professionally, in terms of finances, be prudent in the way that you're spending your money professionally in your business. Think about the projects that you're taking on and the risks that you are incurring. This is no time necessarily to stop working, but it is time to be much more prudent perhaps about the projects that you're taking on so that you don't risk yourself unnecessarily financially. And always remember this, in the midst of all of your failures or in the midst of challenging circumstances, you're still a highly competent professional. You haven't lost your skills and abilities that you've built up over the years. Let those orientate you as well and focus your energies and efforts and use your skills and abilities in the midst of difficulties to overcome some of those challenges. And then finally, just to have a thought to you that you could use. Yesterday's courage is not going to help you today. You can look back at yesterday's courage, the choice to overcome your fears or to face your fears or to confront your fears, and that can perhaps give you some hope for today. But courage is a dynamic thing. It comes and goes. You must exercise that courage in order for it to stick with you. So today you have to choose to do what you're afraid of. Today you have to choose to do the things which you do not want to do. You have to get after those things and embrace that pain and that challenge. So work, love, and courage. That's how you can orientate yourself in the midst of disorientation. Thankfully, when I got thrown overboard when we were rafting, I had something to help me orientate myself, and that was a life jacket. It brought me back up to the surface. I popped up, I looked around, I found where the boat was, I swam over to it, got back on board, and continued to enjoy the journey. So I hope you continue to enjoy your journey in your business, even though it is very challenging at times. My name is Eric Anderton, and I appreciate you watching this video.